Hey, happy medicine making Monday. I'm trying out some new software today. So hopefully I can get this over to YouTube. Well, it's also on Facebook, and I hope I'm actually in the event on the Facebook group, but sometimes it takes me a minute to learn all the technological gadgetry. So yay, Danielle, you're here. That is fantastic. Thank you for saying hello so I can know. I am so happy that you guys are here. So as you show up, just say hello if you want. Maybe mention where you're coming from if I don't already know. Like I know Danielle pretty well. Yeah, and hopefully you'll be able to hear some good things. I wanted to get together and have a little tea time talk and talk about nourishing herbal infusions and why we might want to make them, and some great options for herbs that you can use to create your own nourishing infusions. Yay! The person that loves the shelves in the back, I'm glad you love them. I love them too, especially all my books on there. But I can't see your name. And there's something weird with this software. It told me all about it. Like, you have to accept StreamYard. StreamYard's the name of the software I'm using to say hi to you on Facebook, and then it allows me to see your name. But it's cool if I don't see your name. I can maybe see it later. And Carrie, I'm super happy that you are here. So let's talk about how and why and all the fun things about nourishing herbal infusions. So first of all, why do we want to make them? Nourishing infusions are oh, hey, Crystal, glad to see you. Delicious. They can be really delicious. They can be really grassy and green. And we'll talk about that towards the end of today's little presentation. But it's just, we get to the new year and everybody talks about what they're getting rid of in their diets and their lives. And it's kind of sad because I think it's really an opportunity to talk about what we can bring into our bodies and how we can nourish ourselves further. And, a large percentage of our population is deficient in various nutrients. And if you can get some of those nutrients into your body just by drinking a delicious cup of tea or creating a nice ceremony or ritual for yourself where you're bringing these plants and herbs into your body, then heckin' A, why not, right? Yeah, obviously, I'm a huge fan of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't make tea for a living, right? Funny that should be the case, but there's varying ways in which you can make your tea. You can make it for just like, hey, I want a delightful cup of tea. I like something minty. I'm going to put a little bit of mint in there, and that's going to be great. Me, I'm a huge fan of using tea for medicine. So every one of my formulas behind my head there is all formulated for its medicinal properties and value and how it can help your body to be stronger and work better in whichever ways it needs to work better. Hey, Kirsten, I'm assuming it's pronounced Kirsten. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, I think that the power of using plants as medicine via tea is really, really important. And you can do it, like I said, as just a casual, delicious, like, yay, I love to drink tea and it feels nice. Or you can really maximize the medicinal benefits of your teas. And I think that's where there's so much room to get creative and have a little fun and do it both as an art and a science. So today I figured we'd talk about nourishment. So you don't have to think about what you're taking out of your diet for the new year or what have you. These nourishing infusions can nourish you all year long, which is stellar. So when you're making a medicinal quality tea, you basically just want to use more of the herb. And then a great idea, so this is one of my favorite tea drinking apparatus here. This is just this cool little mug I have, and there is a little lid. The lid sits down, and then this little basket in here holds all of my herbs and it strains everything out. I make very, very strong medicinal quality teas. Because one thing, I'm a person of a very dense constitution. So it takes more herbs for me maybe than somebody who's a little bit more fragile or dainty or just a little more sensitive constitution than I have. And you know your body better than I do, so you will know what's right for you. But one thing I like about this mug is that the cute little basket sits right on top of that lid. And then I've got this delicious cup of tea, and I'm drinking holy basil right now, or Tulsi tea, which I'm actually not even talking about in the presentation, but maybe we'll chat about it in a little bit anyways. So yeah, so you can go anywhere from like a teaspoon of tea I have seen have a dramatic effect on people in just a simple 8-ounce cup of hot water. Whereas I've seen other people that are like, gosh, I want to drink like an ounce of Nettles in a big old quart jar for my day, and that's how I'm going to get my nettle infusion. Again, it really depends on you, and that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Oh, yay, Tulsi and Gotu Cola. You are feeling sharp with your new moves and your new year, right, Dr. Curry? So cool. I have Tulsi and Gotu Cola every morning, but I've been adding Tulsi to my Where Is My Mind blend, which has Gotu Cola and ginkgo and rosemary and nettles and, you know, all the goods there. So that's been really, really fun. So I also wanted to talk about a few of the ways that you can brew your medicinal teas, or however you want them, whether they're medicinal, just pure enjoyment. So you saw my cute little mug that I just had, right? Cutesy wootsy little mug. You can do one of my other favorites. This thing here is called a bombilla, and it's really cool. It's basically just this tea straw. I have them in stainless steel also. This is commonly how people drink mate. But I love this because I love loose leaf teas. You're avoiding extra packaging, extra waste. There's oftentimes a lot of microplastics inside of the tea bags, and it's really quite gross. And quite frankly, I think that the plants are beautiful. I mean, they're just really, really beautiful. And I think today, so many of us strive for this connection to our food, right? It's talked about all the time. Oh, know your farmer, know your food, know what you're putting in your body. But this goes with your herbal medicine too. Like, why not be able to look into your cup of tea and see these beautiful plants dance around at the top? That is why I love this bombilla. And I love the stainless steel ones too. I have them both available at my shop, but that's not why I'm telling you about this, but I do have them. Yeah, so you just plop that in your cup and you see these beautiful plants dance around at the top, and everything's lovely and happy, and yeah, it's a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Here's another one. This is just like a little tea strainer. You can just basically like the other mug, only without the fancy lid to go with it, but it's cute. This one has stars and moons, a little celestial tea strainer that I really like. I've got another version of those. This little guy right here. It's almost like I love collecting tea drinking apparatus. Weird. Who would have thunked? Another thing that you can use, like some people get those little tea balls. They work. I find that people that tend to get the tea balls are doing it because they're not used to drinking loose leaf tea. And what I have seen in the experience I've had with the tea balls I've used is that the plant matter just ends up coming out of it anyways. So kind of defeats the purpose. But I like this little guy. It's really strong. You can just get a little scoop of tea inside of there and plop it in your mug and play away. And I wanted to talk quickly about how I'm saying nourishing infusions, right? So it gets a little bit confusing because I only play with herbs. So every one of my teas that I make are not tea at all. Tea comes from the plant Camellia sinensis. That's where you're going to get white tea, green tea, black tea, and all those other fun teas. And that's the plant that has caffeine in it. And here's a little secret that I don't tell many people. When I first started formulating teas and selling them through Mountain Mel's, I didn't drink my blends. I didn't drink tea at all. I didn't think I liked tea. I was just doing it because I wanted to bring medicine to people. Crazy, right? Now I'm totally addicted to my own blends. I think they're great, but I know that after this little workshop, you're going to be able to make your own great blends at home too. So that'll be kind of fun for you, hopefully. Why was I talking about that? Oh, at one point in time, when I was going through the process of like, oh my gosh, people want to buy my teas. How do I talk about them? And technically they're not tea because they're not Camellia sinensis. They're all herbal. And the technical term for herbal teas is either an herbal infusion because you're infusing water with your herbs, or it's also called tisane. And I thought for a while, like, will I put tisane on my tea labels so that I can decipher and let everybody else know? But then I realized that that would sound really snooty and snotty and stuck up, and I'm none of those. So I went with herbal tea just to be clear and alleviate all of any kind of potential confusion. Hey, Allison, I'm glad you could make it. Welcome. So yeah, we're doing herbal infusions. And one other thing to note about when you're making herbal teas and you're doing them in a medicinal fashion, right now I'm drinking Tulsi, and it's the leaf and the flower of Tulsi. So I have an electric water kettle that just sits there and heats my water all day. It's great. I don't have to think about it. I press a button or plug it in, and I've got warm water for my tea whenever I want. I don't have to worry about turning a stove off and on or anything like that. My point being is that you don't want to boil leaves and flowers. You do want to take hot boiling water and place it over the leaves and flowers in your cup. The reason being is because leaves and flowers have a tendency to be a little bit more delicate and dainty and fragile, and you're going to end up boiling out the medicinal properties of that plant. One other way I wanted to mention that you can keep those medicinal properties into your tea is by making it and brewing it for a much longer time. Like if you can brew it with a lid on top to keep all of the volatile oils inside of your cup as it's steeping, and let it steep for at least 20 minutes, the longer the better. That's where you're going to get your really, really strong medicinal aspects to your tea. The longer you steep, the better off. It's not like when you're going to get a cup of green tea and you got 4 minutes and, that's your time and take it out, or it's going to get super bitter, which, some of the herbs will get bitter, and sometimes bitter is actually a good thing. So I did a whole talk on that last week or the week before, or maybe it was podcast, I don't know, but I definitely talked about bitter herbs recently. And I'll be talking about them again because they're important. So yeah, when you do want to boil herbs for their medicinal value and simmer them, it's called a decoction. That's fancy herb geek speak. Charlie, I'm glad you're here, and I'm excited for an excellent 2021. And I miss your face from so many years ago. Good to see you here. Decoction. Decoction is fancy herbal geek speak, and you want to decoct herbs when you're dealing with rough barks, roots, berries, and things like that, because they're much more dense plant material. So it's harder for just a cup of, some steaming hot water to extract the medicinal plant properties out of there. Instead, you want to do a slow simmer, and you want to do that slow simmer for anywhere from 10 to more like 20 and 30 and 40 minutes. And if you really want to get crazy with it, you can just keep decocting it and add water as that water evaporates. So that's a really, really important thing to know. Again, I'm going to iterate it again. If you're dealing with delicate leaves and flowers, don't boil them. Pour boiling water over them. Cover them with whatever you've got to cover them with, whether it's a little plate or what have you. I've got some silicone little molds at home, things like that. That's going to help keep in all the volatile oils and all that great medicinal value. And then when you're dealing with roots, barks, berries, things like that, you want to decoct or do a long, slow simmer. Cool. So let's talk about herbs, shall we? I like plants. And let's talk about some of these nourishing plants you can get into your body. Yay, I am really happy that you are enjoying what you're learning here. That makes my heart happy. One of the first herbs I wanted to talk about, and I always try and show you the herbs, and it's winter and everything I have is dried right now. So you don't actually get to see the full plant. But this first one I'm going to talk about is actually in the grass family of all things. And guess what it tastes like? kind of tastes like grass. Kind of earthy. I've learned to love that kind of flavor, but it's a really, really nice, actually this one isn't in the grass family. The next one we're talking about is grass family. Sorry about that. This one is in the pea family, and it's alfalfa, much like the horses love to eat. And it is really nice because it helps your body to absorb other nutrients, which oftentimes our body has a really hard time absorbing nutrients because in our society, we do so much damage to our gut, right? We're all pounding all kinds of foods and sugars and things that are inflammatory for our entire body. And it makes it really, really hard for your digestive system to extract the maximum amount of nutritional benefits from the foods that you're putting into your body. So alfalfa can actually aid in your body's ability to absorb your vitamins and your minerals and other trace elements and nutrients from your food. It happens to be really, really beneficial for somebody who's in recovery. Maybe they are just rebuilding the strength of their body. Maybe they are just reigniting their body to a state of health and well-being. Alfalfa can be very, very supportive in that fashion. It's a really great nutritive tonic for women who are in second and third trimesters of pregnancy. I actually use alfalfa in my Mommy to Be tea for that very reason. Very, very nutritive for mama and for baby. It's also a great diuretic. If any of you know what diuretic means, yay, but I'll tell you anyways, diuretic just means that it promotes the flow of urine, which is one of your body's best ways to eliminate waste and toxins and other things. So it can be really, really helpful in just helping your body to clean out its natural detoxification process. And it also is great for getting rid of uric acid, which can lead to gout and other bits of pain and inflammation throughout your body. So alfalfa is a much more friendly herb than you might have known before. With its nice grassy flavor, you can think about adding some mint or some ginger, or I'm going to talk about a few other herbs that you can use to flavor your blends and make them taste a lot better. And in a moment, I'm going to link to a couple of places that you can buy these herbs. I have a really good friend who runs a farm down in Southern Oregon. Let me see if I can actually link it right now with my new fancy fang-dangled software to get me into more places. Let me see. Anyways, my very good friend and brilliant farmer, herbalist woman runs a farm down in Grants Pass, all organic, woman-owned and operated farm called Oshala Farms. And I love, love, love when I get herbs from her because they are the best. They're really, really the best. I'm going to show you when I show you one of the herbs we're going to talk about here in a minute. Like this one. Here's that grass family friend. Does anybody know what I'm holding up? Do I know how to hold it up to a computer screen? That's a bigger, better question, perhaps. Charlie, this can be a really, really helpful herb for you right now. Oh, there's the camera. Can you tell I'm a rookie at this live stuff? Anyways, what I am talking about right now are oat tops and oat straw. They are incredibly nutrient dense. Charlie, you might want to think about milky oats as a tincture. The tops of the actual oat plant, Avena sativa, it's the same plant that oatmeal comes from, but when their tops are, the seeds are green in their summertime, they have this milky little consistency and texture that comes out of them, and that is incredibly supportive for your nervous system. It just helps to tone and strengthen the entire nervous system all the way. It's also, the oat straw is really high in silicone, which is going to help nourish your hair, your skin, your teeth, your bones, your nails, all of that good stuff. It's a great blood builder as well, just to overall strengthen you and your whole body. And it helps to support elasticity for your blood vessels. This is all in oat tops, oat straw, and it rejuvenates and restores the systems of your body, including your brain, your nerves, and your blood. It's really rich in your B vitamins. It's got a lot of calcium, iron, magnesium, potassium, beta carotene, which turns into vitamin A in your body. Really rich in zinc, heavy in the flavonoids, selenium, and really a whole lot more. It's just a great, easy thing to add into a nutritive blend for so many different reasons. If you want your hair to look nicer and have more of a healthy glow to your hair, your skin, your nails, oats might be a great friend for you. And Charlie, or anybody else dealing with freaking 2020 and all the crap it brought to this world, right? Oat tops, milky oats. You can definitely drink them in a tea, but I think that you're going to get more of the nervous system benefits when you're dealing with the milky part of the tops. And that's where you want to find, hopefully, a local herbalist who makes some of the tincture and get some from them. It'll be really, really much more powerful and potent than what you're going to get on a store shelf. Though if all you have is a store shelf, use it, please. It's going to be really, really helpful. And these oats, super, super mild flavor. Like, I don't even know if you can actually taste it at all. Maybe a little bit of mineral rich taste there. But yeah, very, very mild. It's not going to make your tea like, oh no, this is horrible, or anything crazy like that. So time for a tea sip break. I hope that you've got a cup of something delicious to sip on. And if you do, let me know what you're sipping on. Again, I've got holy basil, also known as tulsi, and it makes me happy and cheerful, and it's delicious, and it does so many incredible things for the body. Really, really beneficial. So the next plant I'm pretty excited to talk about because it grows all over the hillsides around where I live. It's incredibly nutritive. It's really rich in this stuff called inulin, which is actually a great prebiotic for your body. And yay, whoever's drinking Unfrazzle Your Dazzle, you are also in a very happy state, aren't you? Yeah, so this next plant does grow really well around here and many, many other places. A lot of people do consider it to be a very obnoxious weed, and it is burdock. It's burdock root. You can cook with this root. You can make it into a tea. Oh, yay, Ginny, you made it, and you're drinking chaga chai. I'm about to send you something special though. You're gonna love it. Burdock root. Amazing stuff. It's also not only rich in inulin, which is a great prebiotic, which helps feed the really good bacteria in your colon. So oftentimes we're just stuffing more crap into our bodies and not feeding that microbiome good things. We need the good bacteria in our gut to live well and do well, and getting good prebiotics from sources of plants that have a lot of inulin in them can be really, really beneficial in that whole game. So I can only see you when you comment, guys. So keep up the comments, because then I get to know you're here, and that's really cool. At least cool for me. I don't know if it's cool for you. It's definitely cool for me. Anyways, burdock, yep, super rich in inulin, really easy to find, a great source of food, really nourishing. It's got a lot of vitamin C. It's got a lot of calcium. It's got a lot of iron. Virginia, dig up those burdock roots. You will not regret it. But I'm sure you already do, because you're already eating and making plantain chips and stuff like that. So totally on the right track, and I love it. Your burdock's also going to have a lot of magnesium, a lot of potassium, a lot of zinc, iron, if I didn't say it. Oh yeah, Danielle, that's great. Dr. Curry says it's also called gobo root in the grocery store. I've actually never heard it called gobo root, but I do know that you can find it in grocery stores, which is pretty darn awesome. I'm a huge fan of digging up my own foods and medicines when I can, but if you're really getting into what burdock root can do for you, then it's a great idea to be able to pick it up in the grocery store as well. It's also got a great alkalizing effect on your body, and it can help to regulate blood sugar. It's a really great one to help your body rid of waste via your liver, the lymphatic system, your lungs, your skin. It's a great skin care herb. It also helps you to excrete waste via your intestines. So burdock's got a lot going on. I don't know, Jenny, if you've actually tried to use your burdock yet or not as medicine or food, but I hope so. Especially if you're in Chicago, that's freaking cool. But I think you might be on the outskirts or something. I don't know. Either way, burdock is another great choice to put into a nutritive tea. Next up, one that I love talking about, one of my favorite springtime plant friends. I do get this epic quality. Oh, I'm going to learn how to use my webcam one day. Anybody recognize this? Danielle, I know you do. You're good at this game. This is a plant that a lot of people try and stay far, 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 far away from, even though it's really incredible. It's kind of like the holy grail of nutritive plants in the herbal world. There are a whole slew of herbalists that would say, when in doubt, give nettles. And I don't necessarily believe it. I don't necessarily play along with that game. I think nettles are amazing in a large portion of the time. But if you're dealing with somebody that is very nice, there's so many ways, Jenny, that you can prepare burdock. You can cook it in a stir fry. You can make it in a ferment and make it into a kraut or something along those lines. I also used to live in Michigan, by the way. You can use it in a stew, roast it up, put it in your teas. There's a whole host of things that you can do with it. And it's just such a really, really beneficial plant. Ideally, you're going to harvest the roots the first year of the plant. So it will spread really quickly each year. Like I actually, sidetrack, we're going to get back to nettles, I promise. But I got to tell you guys a funny story. So probably about 10 years ago or so, I lived up on this beautiful property that I unfortunately no longer have. That's a whole nother story, but I've got 3 dogs. One of them is an Aussie Shepherd Border Collie mix, and we were out on 10 acres and so beautiful. And he's wearing a tuxedo every day, and he's got this long, luscious, lustrous hair. And I was just like starting to nerd out more and more on herbs and herbalism. And this dog would come home on a regular basis with just gnarled up, matted hair. And it was the burdock that has it's got pretty much Velcro, like little flower pieces to it, and will stick to anything. And it was tangling up my beautiful dog's hair, and it chapped my hide, and I kept pulling it off of him, and I'm like, oh, this darn plant. And I remember one time I was taking it out of my yard and I was going to burn it, and I was thinking, this plant does something. This plant does something good for me. I don't even know what this plant is, but it's making me mad because it's ruining my dog's tail. And yet somehow inside of me, this plant was saying to me, hey, you do need me, and I am your friend, and I'm your medicine. And I was able to pull out one of the seeds and identify it. And then later in life, I was looking at another herbalist website, and she had a hand, and it had a burdock seed on it, and she was writing about burdock. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's burdock. And it was just kind of a funny way for me to get to meet this plant. And it was just so weird that I innately knew that somehow this crazy plant ruining my beautiful dog's hair was really good medicine. Anyways, I just had to share that story because it's funny. And I don't talk about burdock all that often. But I do talk about nettles often, and it is the holy grail of nutritive plants in the herbal world and as food. You can absolutely use it as food, no problemo. Make it into a pesto, eat it while it's nice and young in the spring. I'm a huge fan of going out and harvesting nettles and actually eating the fresh nettle right off the plant in the beginning of the spring. And when those babies start popping up in my area, I'm sure I'll do a video for you guys on that. It'll be a lot of fun. One of the times I wouldn't necessarily recommend nettles. One, if they're allergic. Two, somebody who might be maybe an elderly person who might be a bit brittle and frail and very dry might not have the best time with nettles. But you guys probably aren't that if you're on this video right now. Nettles is a great diuretic. So if you remember earlier, I talked about a diuretic. It just means that it helps your body promote the flow of urine and excrete waste out of your body. So it's also going to excrete that uric acid. So somebody who's suffering from gout could really stand to drink a large amount of nettle tea on a regular basis, maybe with a little burdock and maybe with a little alfalfa. It's really nourishing to the entire body. It tones your veins. It promotes some more elasticity to your veins. It can help to prevent blood clots. It increases circulation to your skin. It really helps to reclaim your strength and energy and nourish yourself, your body, your mind, your soul. Get more nettles in your body. It's also really rich in beta carotene, which again turns into vitamin A in your body. It's got a lot of protein, really rich in vitamins B, C, E, K, potassium, calcium, chromium, iron, silica, chlorophyll, choline, and so much more. Nettles are the jam. And there's something that could be talked about for hours upon hours upon hours. But we got minutes and we're just talking tea. So I'm going to move on to our next one, which is another one that grows like crazy. If you've got a yard, it's highly likely that it is around you. It's highly likely maybe your parents or your neighbors or somebody in your community used to try and kill this plant on a regular basis. But this plant is so amazing, so strong, so resilient, and so nutrient dense that it's still around and it keeps spreading despite all of the people that want to spread herbicides on it, right? Gross. By the way, if you're going to harvest this plant, make sure it hasn't been sprayed with herbicides in the past 2 years or more, and make sure your dog or your neighbor's cat didn't pee or poop on it. It's dandelion. It's absolutely beautiful. And you can use the leaves as food in the early spring is when I prefer them. You can also make them into a tea, of course. You can do the same with the root. You can roast the root of dandelion and make it as a dandelion root coffee. If you're looking to quit caffeine and coffee, it's a really nice option. Both of them are really rich in digestive bitters, which gets the flow of juices, your gastric juices flowing through your body and improving that whole process. It's a great blood purifier, so it helps to filter out waste from your blood. It filters the blood from your body. It filters your body's blood for sure. It's also known to help release negative emotions that you may store in your kidneys or in your liver. Emotions like anger and fear, ones that have been really having a negative and longing impact on your life. I love dandelion for that. And I think I'll be really ingesting a lot of dandelion. Yeah, Charlie totally makes great wine, dandelion wine, and it's fun to say. I want to sing a song about it. And if you guys didn't know, I do have a tendency to sing weird songs as I talk and teach and present, but dandelion's another good one that you can consider if you are looking to give your body that refresh or reset, or as a lot of our society likes to call it, a cleanse, though your body already knows how to cleanse itself. It's just really nice to support your body in that process and help your body to eliminate the nasty waste and such. So the root also is really rich in that inulin stuff I talked about earlier. That is a great prebiotic and feeds the healthy bacteria in your colon. And the gut, the root is also really rich in calcium and iron and zinc and choline. It's very flavonoid rich. It's got a lot of phosphorus. The leaf has a lot of vitamin B1 and B2, vitamin C. It's rich in folic acid, beta carotene, calcium, manganese, iron, potassium. So much going on in there. So much going on in these little plants that are just like random weeds that grow out in the wild, but they're so nutritive and they can be so great in tea. And the truth of the matter is, most of these herbs and plants I just talked about with you, while they are incredibly nutritive, our society has a tendency to want sweet, delicious, yummy things, and many of these are either very grassy or earthy or bitter. But there's ways you can make your teas amazing. And you can get really creative and have fun with it. That's what I love to do. I think about when I blend teas for myself, I'm just like, I don't know, I'm this way when I cook too. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'll maybe grab somebody's recipe and just be like, oh, that's a fantastic guide. I'm also going to do this, this, or this. Some of the things you can think of adding to your nutritive blends to make them yummy. Think about peppermint. If you like minty things, peppermint's really nice because it's what's called a carminative herb. So it eases gassiness and bloating and tummy upset, things like that. It's freaking delicious. It's going to give you a little more like zing to your day, make you feel refreshed and vibrant, things like that. It's also another diuretic herb. It's also a diaphoretic herb. So it helps to promote your body ridding itself of waste via your sweat. So it actually happens to be really nice if somebody is not feeling very well. So you can get them all those extra nutrients and the deliciousness of a peppermint tea, which is going to help with the tummy, which is going to help excrete waste via your urinary tract and through sweating as well. And it's really soothing for your tummy, if I didn't mention that one. And it's yummy. If I didn't mention that one, that's super important. There's also ginger. Ginger makes for a great one. It's going to be really warming during this time of year when you're super cold. It's going to warm the digestive tract and get those juices firing really well. It's great as an anti-inflammatory herb. It helps to activate your immune system and stimulates the heart muscle. It reduces inflammation throughout your entire body. Have I mentioned it's super yummy? Because it is. I prefer to make my ginger root in my tea with fresh root. You get a lot more of the medicinal benefits out of the fresh root than you do the dried, but dried will do if that's what you've got. Yum. Cinnamon, another good one. Use some cinnamon. If you've got sticks, that's great. So then you don't end up with like some cinnamon powdery sludge, or little cinnamon chips are really nice. It's another warming one. It's great as a circulatory stimulant. It is fantastic to warm up your digestive system, and it's straight yummy. Like, do cinnamon and peppermint together. Get crazy. Like me, I'm crazy. Another way, I mean, there's a whole host of herbs you can use to sweeten or flavor up the more grassy teas that you're going to drink. Aniseed is a nice one. It's going to be really coating and soothing for your digestive tract. It's going to be nice and sweet and delicious. And mucilaginous, which is that coating and soothing part of the digestive tract. It also helps to curb the appetite for sweets. So somebody like me who is a total sweet addict, and I'm actually ditching them now, I might think about putting some aniseed and maybe some cinnamon in my tea to help with the craving for sweet things. So you could use licorice root. You could use hibiscus if you like tart things. Get some apple pieces, some oranges, really whatever you want. You just get to play and make it how you like. And that's part of the fun of all of this stuff. So hopefully you've learned some stuff in here. I've really been having a lot of fun learning more and more about how to get classes to you, to be live, and access the most amount of people that I can. I do have a new class coming up in February. If you guys are interested, I'll just toss it out there. No biggie if not. Right now I'm doing an early bird discount on it. It's kind of a two-part class. So I'm totally not into New Year's resolutions, but I am into lifestyle change and giving your body the opportunity to heal and reset and repair itself. So in February, I'm doing a class called Herbs for Optimal Gut Health, where we're going to talk about the digestive system, how it works, all the pieces of the puzzle. We're going to talk about herbs that are really great for digestive health. And then I'm doing a coinciding program after that is called Repair Your Gut, Revive Your Life. And that's going to be basically a 6-week guided gut reset program where we're going to work together and learn a lot about what foods your body might be sensitive to and how we can work on letting those foods go, but yet bringing in other great foods that really nourish your body well. It's going to help if you've been dealing with crazy inflammation. It can be really helpful for those with autoimmune disorder. It can be helpful for a lot of various conditions. And I'm aiming to make it a lot of fun. Anyways, I'm doing that in February. I'm doing an early bird discount on it until Thursday. If you want to know, shoot me a message. I'll let you know. No biggie. If not, February, I'm also doing another free, longer, more intensive workshop all about what is leaky gut and how you can use herbs to deal with it. So if you guys have questions for me, pop them in the chat. I will be happy to answer. And if you don't, I totally get it. And I hope that you have enjoyed this little video and you're going to go make yourself some delicious, nutritive herbal tea and put it in your tummy and make it nice and yummy. Hit me with your questions. I'm here for you. And if not, I'll sit here for a few more seconds and see if anybody wants to pop anything in the chat. And if not, I'm going to wish you guys a magnificent first Monday of 2021. I personally am really excited about this year. I learned a lot last year and I'm really grateful for those lessons. Many of them were beautiful and I've learned a lot in these last 42 years. So I'm excited to share a lot of what I've learned over this coming year with you guys and have a lot of fun doing it. You're welcome, Carrie. Yay, Jenny. I'm glad you got some value out of it. And can you overdo it with combining diuretics? That's a really good question, Charlie. And it's really going to be situationally dependent. And that's one thing I like to say about herbs overall. I mean, if you're peeing just way too much and you can't stop peeing, then you've definitely overdone it. I'm trying to think of a situation where I wouldn't want you to eliminate waste and urinate, because that whole process of using diuretic herbs is all about aiding your body and getting rid of whatever it needs to, even if it's just more water. I can't really think of anything. Dr. Curry, are you on here? Would you think if there's a time where somebody, if you're still on here, kidney disease. Thank you. I was like, I know there's something. I know it can't be nothing. Yeah. You suffer from gout and dehydration, it can be an issue, then I would be drinking some dandelion and some nettles tea. Because you're going to hydrate yourself more, even though they are slightly, like the term diuretic, you're releasing water, so you're actually dehydrating. But as long as you're bringing in more water, you're going to be okay. Thank you, Danielle. By the way, Danielle is Dr. Curry. She does do online patient care and work. She's a naturopathic physician out of Troutdale, Oregon, and she's absolutely brilliant. So if you are looking to work with somebody directly, she's a pretty amazing healer and will help you on your path to healing yourself. I've watched her heal herself in beautiful ways over the years that I've known her, and yeah, she's brilliant. So if you're looking for somebody in that realm, might I say, there's Dr. Danielle Curry. Yeah. Danielle, would you say I'm right in saying to Charlie that, if he's suffering from gout and dehydration is an issue, I'm still going to go with drinking more Nettles and Dandelion in that department. Would you recommend something different? I mean, peppermint. I mean, and I don't mean to push you and have you give recommendations to people while you're just enjoying this live video. I just wanted to see if I was doing the right thing. So feel no pressure there. But I think that is what I would do if I were in your shoes. Right, of course. And that's the whole thing. You have to work with somebody in a much bigger picture than just like, this is what I have. And that's part of what happens in our society and our culture. And this, we have been raised on Western medicine, which has a lot of really great benefits to it, but we're so accustomed to saying, well, I have X, what do I take for X? And that's not exactly how plant medicine works. So it's unique to each person and each condition and each situation. So that's why I always recommend to work with a qualified herbalist who can get your whole health picture. You know, there's a lot of moving pieces to you. And there's a lot of moving pieces to the plants. So if you have a naturopath, if you have an herbalist, if you have another holistic healthcare practitioner to help guide you through, that's the best way to go. And that's a good way to lead. Yes, exactly. And a lot of that comes through diet, for sure, Charlie. Almost everything, it seems. Awesome. You guys are great. Thank you so much for showing up. It's been fun for me. I hope it's fun for you too. I think on Wednesday at 3, we're talking about marshmallow and your gut. So hopefully y'all join me for that and have a magnificent Monday. Thanks again. Bye.